What is going on, everyone? Why don't we take a look at the positive side of the Big Easy, New Orleans. This amazing southern city is just north of where the Mississippi River and the Gulf of Mexico meet. Located in the state of Louisiana, New Orleans is the largest city and metropolitan area of the state, as well as one of the United States' biggest ports. The Big Easy is known for its distinct and very unique architecture that encompasses French and Spanish elements. Walk around Bourbon Street during the day to really take it in. It's amazing. Beautiful city. Pictures on the internet don't do it justice. New Orleans has a lot to offer new residents. If you're thinking about relocating to the Big Easy, you should watch my top 10 reasons to move to New Orleans. Number 10. Public transportation. One of the things I always look at in a city is the public transportation. This city is not lacking in that department. The public transportation system in New Orleans is one of the best in the country. Not the most modern, but very well planned out. They offer the typical city bus routes, just like every other city, and they also have the New Orleans streetcars. These streetcars have been around for many, many years. Now, they've been updated over the years, so don't think you're getting on some rickety old trolley or something. They're really nice inside. They're definitely the most popular public transportation in the Big Easy. They go kind of slow, and with all the cool architecture in New Orleans, these things are great for sightseeing. Number 9. Beer to go. Almost every other bar or restaurant you go to anywhere else in the United States, they won't allow you to take alcohol to go. It's illegal. But it's totally legal and common for people to take their beers to go while out in New Orleans. Unfortunately, if you're drinking out of a bottle, they won't let you take that. But you can ask your server for a to-go cup, and they'll gladly give you one, and off you go. Now, I experienced this one time, and it was great. I was on Bourbon Street with my friend Jeff back in the 1990s, and we wanted to go to another bar. Jeff had a beer and tried to conceal it in his arm as we left. We didn't know it was legal to leave a bar like this at the time, so we tried to hide it and leave. The door guy grabs him by the arm, grabs the beer, and told him, "You can't take that out there, you're going to need a to-go cup." We thought that was a joke. It wasn't. He gave him back the beer, and we were confused at this point, and we stepped out on the street. We thought we were doing a magic trick. It was amazing. And finally, the door guy goes, "Off you go, off you go," and he was like waving his arm to us. It was really funny. Anyway, so that's kind of something neat about being in New Orleans. Number 8. Music. You're in luck if you love jazz music. New Orleans is the birthplace of the music genre. While it's difficult to know exactly who started jazz music, the city's own Buddy Bolden was one of the first true jazz musicians. Not a fan of jazz myself, but that doesn't mean I don't recognize the art that it is. New Orleans has produced so many other great musicians, not just jazz, but here's just a few. Louis Armstrong, the Neville Brothers, Harry Connick Jr., Fats Domino, and so many more. It would take me about a 30-minute video just to name the musicians that came out of there. And I know you want to tell me who I missed. Just stop typing. Lil Wayne doesn't count. Number 7. The locals. New Orleans locals are some of the friendliest people that you will ever meet in a major city in the United States. These locals truly love their city and are happy to answer any questions or give you directions, that type thing. They're another city that sometimes takes that whole love thy neighbor and southern hospitality to a new level. Love thy neighbor. That sounds more like an ad for a swingers club or something. Anyway, love thy neighbor in a non-creepy way. Just know that it's easy to find friends in New Orleans. And yes, like I said in the last video, New Orleans does have some true scumbags, like every place else. But 95% of the people in New Orleans you would love to have in your life. They're good people. Number 6. The average festivals. Now, it is unlikely, but in case you do find yourself bored and looking for things to do in New Orleans, there's always some form of festival going on that you're more than welcome to attend. Every single weekend, there's some form of festival. And I'm not exaggerating. I mean it. Look it up. Google it. That means you have plenty to choose from every single year. Pick your 5 or 6, maybe 10 that you like attending every year. You'll see the same people. You'll have a lot of friends. You'll really enjoy it. Number 5. Mardi Gras. Mardi Gras is the biggest holiday festival in New Orleans. If you don't live in a bomb shelter for the last 50, 60 years, you already know this. Most of the time when you think of New Orleans, you think of Mardi Gras. The Mardi Gras is basically the last biggest celebration before Lent and will fall on any Tuesday between February 3rd and March 9th, depending on when Easter is. There are a ton of parades, festivals, and parties all throughout the city on this day. It also gets very crowded, and if you're living there, you do want to experience it at least a couple times if you've never been, but please, be careful, it gets a little crazy. And in case you've never watched Cops New Orleans, you should be warned that lifting up your shirt to get beads is actually illegal. It's like a tradition there, but you can be arrested for it. Number 4, architecture. The architecture in New Orleans is outstanding. Many buildings will be painted bright colors with columns with a Victorian motif and design. The architecture here is so popular that they have architectural tours. You can get on a tour bus and go around the city. They'll tell you all about it. Now, this may sound boring to most of you, and I thought it was too before I went on it. But after I went on it, I really enjoyed it. One cool fact I picked up, a lot of the street lamps and balcony support poles have spikes on them. This isn't because it was a decoration. This is because fathers with daughters, back in the day, grew tired of their daughters having late-night gentlemen callers, so they put spikes on the poles so he couldn't shimmy up the pole. You could still find these poles dotted throughout the city. Number 3. Schools. Like I said in the last video, New Orleans has a solid education system. The average school test score in New Orleans is about 48% higher than the national average. That's a really good number. And that's not even considering they have some of the best universities in the country in and around New Orleans. If you're a parent or planning on being a parent and moving to New Orleans, this is a really good number you want to see. They may skimp on a lot of things like roads and potholes, but they definitely don't skimp when it comes to education in New Orleans. Number 2, the food scene. The food scene in New Orleans is huge. There's a ton of different cuisines to choose from. Some of the most popular include Creole, with specialties like gumbo, blackened fish, red beans and rice, things like that. Cajun food, which originated in the bayous, has dishes like jambalaya and boiled crawfish. Now, I always got the feeling they really only served gumbo and crawfish in New Orleans when I went. Those two things are on every single restaurant sign in New Orleans. At least it seemed that way. I once made the mistake of telling a cook I wasn't a fan of jambalaya. This dude got so upset. He wanted to go outside and fight me over my dislike for a dish. I didn't even say his jambalaya, I just said jambalaya in general. I finally said, dude, relax. You're like 70 years old, you're not in shape, and we're in a church waiting for your granddaughter's baptism to start. Sadly, he passed away a couple years back. I know the family. I went to his wake and had some jambalaya they had there, and I gotta admit, it was really good. I wish he was alive, I could have told him that. And number 1, the French Quarter. The French Quarter is the oldest neighborhood and most famous neighborhood in New Orleans. This is an amazing neighborhood, and it's so much more than the debauchery going on down on Bourbon Street. But hey, everyone's got to walk down Bourbon Street with a drink in their hand at least once in their life, right? This city is deep in history. The French Quarter is located on the banks of the Mississippi River, where New Orleans was established by the French in 1718. The site was selected not only because of being on the Mississippi River, but because it's so close to Lake Pontchartrain. Now it's like right on Lake Pontchartrain, but back in the day it was close to it. New Orleans was given to the Spanish in 1763 after the 7 Years' War, and it didn't take long for the Spanish to screw it up. The Great New Orleans Fire in 1788 was bad, and I guess they didn't learn their lesson because 6 years later they had another one in 1794 that destroyed 80% of the buildings, and so nearly all the French Quarter dates back to the late 1790s. The French Quarter is number 1 because it's historic, it's beautiful, and it's a good time. Alright, so that's our list today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. New Orleans is a great city that if you've never visited, you're missing out on an amazing place. And yes, like all cities, it has some bad areas. Stay out of those areas, you'll be fine. I want to give a big thank you to all the channel members. I don't do sponsorships on this channel, so it's nice that you guys are helping out the channel and keep this thing going. Anyway, don't forget all the links below. If you haven't subscribed and you feel like it, please do so. Everybody have a great day. Be nice to each other.